Hi, everybody. Nancy Hart here, Whole Heart Evolution. Yeah, the world's turned upside down again. I'm quoting Hamilton again. Last time I quoted this particular line from Hamilton was probably 18 months ago. And it was the world's turned upside down. This time my heart aches yet again. And what the heck can I do about any of it? It feels way bigger than me. And I'm one person. Have any of you felt that when you turned on the news tonight or been watching news or following your media feeds this week? Is that anybody out there? Yeah, me too. And my heart just hurt. My heart just really hurt. And I thought, you know something, Nance, what are you going to possibly say to anybody tonight that could be of support? When what's out there feels way bigger than what I have available to me. I am one person. Well, I would offer to each of us that, yeah, we are one person. And whether it's what we're looking at in today's world, in Eastern Europe, whether we're looking at something that we find is inequitable, perhaps in the state that we live in, or the school we're navigating with our kids, or the job that we're in, or the planet that we're navigating together as a global community. And when it feels like it is more than us, when taking a step feels like, it's just not going to make a difference. Here's what I can say. I can argue that with you. I can actually offer what I hope is helpful to you in terms of what I'm doing right now to navigate that space, to do my best to navigate that space. Now, when it comes to Eastern Europe, which is something that's very loud for me right now. I wish I'm not, but I wish I were Wonder Woman with the golden lasso of truth and the bracelets that are so powerful and a whole cadre of powerful superhero friends that could go in there and restore order. Push out who needs to be pushed out and restore order and peace and harmony and safety to the people who call themselves Ukrainians. In my current set of circumstances as me, Nancy, that's not available to me. But that doesn't mean I'm helpless, and it doesn't mean you're helpless either. What helps first and foremost when something of that magnitude or something going on in my state that I feel is harmful to children, something that's coming down the pathway, and I feel that I do not have a voice in this, I catch myself first and foremost. Because the power that breathes us, the power of truth, the power of the universe is far greater than any circumstance, any situation, any condition. And that we are empowered and creative, co-creating with that power. So in the face of these things in the world, what might we do? First and foremost, I'm going to offer you the idea that all of it, we just need to breathe. First and foremost, we need to breathe and calm down our nervous system, so we can actually hear what's going on inside of us about what we would truly love in this particular set of circumstances. None of this is Pollyanna, guys. This is helping us get at what is it that we can do. Perhaps in this particular scenario, once I've breathed enough, in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth, until you can actually calm your nervous system and ground yourself again, there's a powerful question you can ask yourself as you're looking at a particular situation that is causing you grief, causing you distress. What would I love here? Now, what would I love is a question. Those of you who hang out around me know that's something that I ask of myself, that I ask of my colleagues, and that I ask of my clients in particular. And it is an empowering question. And I would invite you to just once you've calmed, to tap into that question, what would I love here? Well, Nancy, it seems obvious. I would invite you to give it a name. Perhaps it's peace in the region with some specificity around it. Perhaps it's safety for those who are exiting the country while whatever this is plays out. Perhaps it's peace of mind for those who have relatives thousands of miles away, or communities that are thousands of miles away and their hearts are hurting and hurting hard. What would I love here? Would I love peace? Would I love to be supportive? Would I love safety? Hear the answer to that in your situation. The next thing I would invite you to do is, once you've calmed and once you hear the bigger picture of what would I love, comes, I think, what is probably the most important empowering step, which is this. What can I do with what I have from right where I am? What can I do with what I have from right where I am? And with a bit of, you may know immediately, you may need a bit of time, but with that question and staying with the question, there will be something you can do. Something you can do. You may not be able to be Wonder Woman swooping in and clearing the battlefields, but are there other ideas that come up instead? What's one step I could take? And it can be the smallest one, but one person taking one step, and another person taking another step, and another person taking another step can actually create real change. Maybe the opportunity, if we stay with this metaphor of what's going on in Eastern Europe, or anything that is of significance, that is on your mind, on your heart, and occupying all space. What could I do? Could I reach out to my community, see if there's anyone who happens to be connected to family or friends there or communities, and offer them comfort, offer them an encouraging word? Perhaps there's a Ukrainian community in your city that could use some support. Maybe those communities are coming together, perhaps it's a Greek Orthodox church or a religious community. Maybe they're coming together and you're making them a meal to show your solidarity. Perhaps there's a letter that you write. Perhaps there's a donation you make to the International Red Cross, because we know that there's about to be a refugee crisis. Well, maybe not crisis, but a refugee situation for sure in Poland and in Romania specifically, and perhaps other countries, as Ukrainians are forced to leave their home country to find safety. There are resources that are going to be needed. And maybe if this is you, maybe there's just a prayer you offer. An affirmation, a prayer that you hold, and you hold consistently for these people. And there is tremendous, and there's now scientific data behind it, there's tremendous power behind prayer, not only for those who are offering it, but it is inevitably felt and understood, holding space for what is possible, for the comfort, the safety of those who are in harm's way, or who are determining whether they stay or whether they go. How do they help their elderly parents and their young children navigate through this space? Maybe the strongest thing you offer is the power of prayer. I invite you, this is all an invitation, everybody. I invite you to, when the world's turned upside down, it appears that it's way bigger than us, and my heart hurts. What is a step you can take? So here's your reminder. Breathe. Calm your nervous system down. Second, ask yourself a highly empowered question, which is not necessarily obvious. What would I love in this particular situation? 3, what's one step I can take from right where I am with what I have, knowing that what I have to offer is meaningful? And then keeps taking the steps that you can take. Ask yourself the question, stay in the question, take the step that you can, and be consistent with it if that's what's called for. And what we may find is that we do provide comfort to even one person, a meal that somebody in a Ukrainian community needed because they don't know where their relatives are. The power of prayer and support of others. A donation to the Red Cross. There are as many answers for this as there are those of us. But I invite you into this practice, and then notice how your heart feels. We typically feel better if there is something we can do that actually has meaning to it. And I know that you can find it, even when it seems like the world's turned upside down. That's it for this week, everyone. Take good care of yourself. Don't be afraid to ask the question. Empower yourself. What can I do with what I have from right where I am? We'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.